Well, it is Thursday night. It is what used to be known as must-see TV night on NBC, but no, friends. There is no Seinfeld. There is no follow-ups to Seinfeld. It is just Freedom House TV. It is Freedom House TV on Al Gore's internet, and we are live, and we are partying. Yeah, Brian.
It must be must-see internet television, David.
MSTI
V.
I don't know.
Vision.
V. Yeah, sure.
Does Vision get its own letter?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't prepare this acronym in advance. I didn't put my notes up there.
That's a lot of fuchsia you got there going on. A lot of fuchsia.
Yeah, it's like a nice curtain because we have like a wonderful guest tonight. Hello, Doug. This is like overture down the lights. This is it. The night of night. It's a sort of a Looney Tunes kind of deal, right?
No more rehearsing or nursing the part.
Yeah.
We know every part by heart, David.
On with the show. This is it.
On with the show. Wow.
Welcome.
The great beginning of a show.
Welcome to the Freedom House TV. We are on the internet every single Thursday night, just chatting with sometimes ourselves, and then sometimes we bring in friends. And tonight we brought in a friend.
Look just like we agreed to. It's a friend.
Look at that.
Annmarie Morais. How are you?
Hi, I am listening to your intro and your acronyms and your singing, and it's all weird.
Did you sing along?
No.
Did you sing along?
That's a hard no.
A hard no. Was Looney Tunes a big thing in your Saturday morning upbringing? Looney Tunes?
It sure was. All the, which I'm sure will get rebooted, like everything that was a big thing in my childhood. The Looney Tunes. It's great. The whole Bugs Bunny thing.
Yeah.
And Thundercats, the whole deal. All the good stuff.
Nice. They're all rated R now. You can't watch any of those cartoons. They're all terrible now.
Well, looking back, some of them are like, this is pretty horrible.
Yeah. Sesame Street's out now.
Once they got rid of Speedy Gonzales, I think Looney Tunes was okay, right?
I think the writing was on the wall, though.
There were some minor issues with Speedy
the
Gonzales.
The whole puppy harassment situation. I'm like, that guy. Personal space, man. No.
Somebody else bit the dust today. Did you hear about Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head? Gone.
No.
Yeah. Can't say Mr. and Mrs. anymore.
Why is he gone?
What happened there?
Mr. and Mrs.
And they took that out on the Potato Heads?
Well,
the Potato Heads were the Axemen for that?
I don't make the decisions. I just report, my friends. I'm only reporting.
Erin says hello. Amberly was thinking about you.
Well, hello, Amberly. I hope you're doing well. I hope your family's doing well.
Yes.
Well, we are joined by Annmarie, and we wanted to sort of take a little bit of a extra bit of time and talk about your life a bit, Annmarie, because your life is very interesting. I mean, so much more interesting than our lives. Like you have. You have fascinating stuff going on. What are you doing these days? Like what's happening in the Annmarie world? What are you up to?
What am I up to?
What are you working on?
Yes, I'm in the glamorous, sleep-deprived world of trying to make a TV show. Trying to create a TV show. Yes, sleep is not a big thing in this world. I'm discovering. So it's great. So we're building all the little pieces that will make us ready to roll in the COVID world of cameras in May, but putting together historical drama, doing all the things that you're finding. Yesterday we were talking to our costume designer about what dresses they should wear and the hats and the shoes and things you don't normally think about, but you have to think about all the time. You want a color? Do you want a pastel? Do you want a green? Do you want a this? Like, there's a lot of decisions all day, all the time. All the time.
Annmarie,
and do you have to?
Maybe we can go back a bit. Tell everyone how you got to being a world-renowned writer and shoe designer. Like, how did you get into this?
Designer.
What's happened?
Well, I absolutely grew up in Brantford, as many people know. Went to film school in Toronto to just figure out how to make this all work, because I knew I loved movies and I knew I loved TV and I knew people had jobs in that. So I tried to figure out, how do I get one of those jobs? Go to film school and you learn all the stuff. So I loved the writing the most. And so I started doing that. And when I started doing that, I realized, I've always been writing since I was a young kid. I just didn't think it was a big deal. I just thought everybody did it. I found out everybody didn't do it. And everybody didn't like it. Everybody didn't like it. Not everybody was good at it. So I was like, okay, that's news. So yeah, I went to film school. I started working in the industry a little bit, and then sort of stopped that to do jobs that would just give me space to write and create my own stories and my own ideas. And that took a lot of years till won a very big prize that the good people of the Golden Oscars do. And so that opened the doors for me writing professionally. And I've been doing that for the last, maybe the last 20 years of my life, which has been
20 years. Beautiful.
Annmarie, the internet says that your mother is watching you.
My mom is watching. Good. Hi, Mom.
I'm not sure whether this is like a general looming comment, like sort of like a life. Your mother is watching, or like more. Yeah.
Be nice to them. Your mother is watching. I'll try. Try, Mom. I'll try.
That's right.
Yeah. Yes. So anyway, I've been doing a lot of that. I've been writing. I've been hired. I tend to be hired as the writer for good characters. So I had the fortune to cross genres, because you always need a good character no matter what you're doing. Some people like to make their name in, I just do this, or I just do this, or I just do this kind of story, sci-fi or westerns or actions or comedy. But I just write good people. So if you want interesting people on your project, you should hire me. And,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's a great thing to get known for, because you're not, I guess, I don't know what the word is in writing school or writing world that equals typecast, but right cast. I don't know if that's a word or not, but that's amazing. Well done.
Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, and so here we are. Many, many years later, I finally have the opportunity to, with another great, talented Black Canadian writer woman, we get to work together and be showrunners. It's the job of the people who put it all together and make the show happen, and write the stories and oversee the writing the stories and the people that were doing it. And so it's been a lot, but at the end of the day, we're telling a story we believe in and we love. And yeah, that's kind of cool.
So one of the things that we were asking people this month on Freedom House TV is, what was your inspiration to become somebody transformational? And you have a very different story than a lot of other people in the world, because not only is your life a transformational life, but you get to create other fictional lives that are also transformational lives. It's such an interesting thing, right? Like, I think most people probably have a character in a TV show or movie or book that they've read or watched or taken in over the years, and they go, this is somebody that I can see myself in. Like they can find themselves inside this character. What was your inspiration? What was the thing that said, hey, Annmarie, you can be somebody that lives this and creates this?
I don't think I thought of it in those terms. Like, here am I making this decision about being transformational. I thought how much I loved story, and sort of whatever the gift that God has sort of given in your hand, you need to ask what you're supposed to do with it. And I felt like the passion and the love and the excitement that I had for this big, large, massive global platform that's the film industry was supposed to go down that road. So I think I was just doing what I felt led to do with the gift that I'd been given. So it wasn't, I didn't go in thinking I'm going to change. But through that journey, you've discovered really, as you said, these stories, these people, it connects to everyone, everywhere. Everybody's got a favorite movie, show, character, moment that isn't me. I mean, people will sometimes come, two grown men talk about fields, dreams, and having a catch, and they start to, the eyes get a little misty. I see you, Dave. Your eyes get a little
every
misty.
single time. Yes, every single time. Yeah.
So, I thought, wow, what a platform. Then I think I began to sort of see it. The more that I worked in this industry, then I began to see it as really a cause or an agent of transformation, and equipping people to feel ready and powerful and able to be their own agents within my industry is my life's mission, is what I'm here for. So my stories are great. I love my stories, love doing that, but really what I'm here for is to help someone else do that and do it well. Oh, yeah.
Love it. So next question is, why is it important to be a transformational person? Like, why? Because while you may not have started off with that as the motivation, just getting to know you over the years and talking with you, I know that as you've gotten into your industry, you've seen things inside your industry that you go, this is not quite right, right? Like there's room for improvement inside your industry, just like many other people's industries that I'm sure they get into and they go, I care about it, I like it, but it's not a perfect reflection of the kingdom. Why is it important to be able to not just work, but to actually go, I am called to be somebody transformational inside the things that I'm called to be and do? Why is it important?
I think it is important to be transformational because that's what we were created to do. I think we were created to be change makers, and either we are going to be those who are shaped by the changes or the choices of others, or we are going to be those who shape and change the worlds that we're called to step into. So I've never been a fan of kind of going where the current takes you. As my mother who's watching can tell you, it's like, I should say, I don't know, you have no room to just blow like a tumbleweed anywhere you want to go. But it's always, you always have to come in for me. What is the mission here? What is the call? And everybody, everywhere, every industry, every culture, you are called to be an agent of change. We're called to be an agent of change.
Yeah.
So transformation is not an optional thing. Either you will be changed or you'll be changing someone. And hopefully it's for the, when it's good, we're both changed for the better, right? When it's really good.
Awesome. We've talked before, Annmarie, about when you started down the road into the arts per se, that not everyone thought that was a good idea. Going to Hollywood, that's kind of evil over there. Maybe just talk a little bit about why you're needed there, why people are needed there, and how we can help that. Like, most of us will never get to Hollywood to do what you do, or even now you're back in Toronto doing it here. But it's a very specific field. So you've already talked about being transformational there, but just talk a little bit about, this was some of the stuff I had to face, but here's things that others can do to at least grab a hold a little bit in their mind to go, here's why, and here's what we do there to make things work and make change agents.
Yeah, I think I came up in a time where I think there was a lot of fear in sort of the world of church and the world of Christendom, although they wouldn't call it fear. There was a real practice, is kind of like, as Chris Crane would say, S4, no more. It's like we would huddle in our little groups and nobody sort of penetrated, and we felt safe. And there was a real kind of fear of corruption, and the messages and values that were not like ours really causing people of the faith to stumble. So it seemed the wisest course to say, don't go to the movies, don't listen to this, don't watch this, don't go. So it was kind of a way we boxed ourselves in. And it's so strange to me because as I got into the word for myself, I'm like, there was nothing boxed in about the life of Christ. Nothing. Mm-hmm. The people that he hung with, the folks that he talked to, the people that he called, like there was nothing boxed in about our faith and the word that we believe. So it was so strange to me. But I do remember those who had not been in favor, some of those, God bless them, who came back years later and apologized and said, I see the need because I see the way like my kids or my grandkids are so invested and so drawn into this world. And yes, those messages are coming and we need more people speaking life and truth and hope and, speaking it into the darkness. And I think we have a lot of ground still to make up in the entertainment world because we surrendered it for so long. So I really feel like there's a shift, but we're still reaping a lot of the absence of our involvement in this world, So it's important because there's nothing more pervasive, there's nothing more globally recognized than this industry.
I would say I like the way you said that because I think the church really did abdicate all the spheres of influence to wait for Jesus to come and get us. It was a very unfortunate few decades there that we just went, well, hopefully Jesus will come and we won't all die. And then he didn't come and we realized we'd given up all the major spheres of influence, right?
Oh boy, so, we stopped swimming, right? Like,
we're just locking up the ark because, we're all going to be fine. And it's like,
So I want to add one dimension to this, Annmarie, because it's Black History Month. And we look at you as a strong woman, a strong Christian, a strong lady, and a strong Black woman. And all those things are fantastic and really needed. How do we make this message and this story, again, we're talking stories this month, weave together? And I don't know if you want to talk about this, but Nikki talked about on Sunday. She was a big fan of yours on Sunday. I don't know if you heard her message.
I was very honored.
Yeah. You got a lot of screen time on Sunday, Annmarie.
It was awesome. Yeah. And but she said a phrase that she said about, well, we don't see color, and she said, I want you to see color. And I don't know if you want to go down that road, but I've had that chat with you too. But it's powerful, and if you want to go there, or whatever you feel like we need to hear, so we can all be better.
Right. At first, I was like, shout out to Nikki because I love her and I love our relationship. I love that we can be honest, and I think to me that relationship represents such an incredible journey. I mean, it's such a journey together because we want the best for each other, and that really includes, even if we disagree, doing it from a place of love and whatever. So yeah, I hear that a lot. And I know people like, I don't see color, and I know the intent is to say, you're my friend no matter what your skin tone. And there's an interesting discussion amongst my communities. Like when people often say that, it's okay that you're Black. And then it brings up something that says, well, why is the position that what is okay, there's a whiteness that's okay. It's like, well, if God didn't want to color, he would have made everybody white. And we're like, well, why is white your color? Like, why didn't he make everybody Black? So it really always triggers our perceptions of how this color. So like, I believe God is intentional in everything that he does, from the trees and so humanity, his creation of humanity is intentional. So if there is not a conversation to be had around what God intended, what are we doing? What are we talking about? What are we really talking about here? I'm not for avoiding uncomfortable conversations. I can only speak for myself as one Black woman. You can talk to another Black woman, Black man, whoever will have a different perception or different opinion or different experience. But I would rather somebody stumble and fumble and trip over their tongue to ask me something they're unsure of than not ask me anything. And I think there has to be grace on both sides, grace for to endure a fumble and a tumble, and just, grace to say, listen, there's a lot of things that we need to learn from each other. So I love that Nikki heard that. And I love that we can really talk about the things that are going on in the world and just share from two different sides of the table, but listen to each other. So important. Don't think of what God intended as something that is just something to be ignored. I don't know God like that. I don't know God like that. So ask, embrace, question, have conversations. I love when Nikki talked about having relationships with people outside of our experiences. I'm like, I feel like a lot of the miscommunications, a lot of the wounds come from an insular existence, come from never sort of venturing outside what feels safe and comfortable for us, what looks like us, what thinks like us, what speaks with us, what agrees with us. I am as excited to be in relationship with somebody who says, I don't agree, as I am to have someone who likes all the same things. And I'm like, the person that says, I don't agree, I think we have more to discuss. I'm so excited to get into things, again, not from a point of hostility, because that's really, you're never really hearing each other if you're just screaming at each other. But asking with openness.
Well, this answer is it's a real relief to me as somebody that's watched the Oscars with you and don't always agree with your Oscar pick.
Although they're right. Although my picks are right. And just,
yeah. Your tweets definitely say how right you are on all your Oscar picks. Yeah. All right, I got one more question for you. This is we've been talking about the year to shine, and be as expository as you want, but how do you actually shine in your industry? Like, what's an example of how you've been able to go in and you've honored me enough with sharing some of the different, some of the really personal stuff where God's used you to be able to share his love to different people in the industry, but how do you shine inside this industry, and how can others shine during this year?
Yeah, I found it, and I think I shared this when I was speaking to some of the young adults. This theme,
which they love, by the way. They were super excited that you chatted with them, and it was such a great night. Yeah.
Oh, shout out to my ace. Yeah, I think when I was probably younger than they are, Brian B spoke that word over my life. That guy right there. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
And I wrote it in my journal. And some people they messages, and some of them stick with us for different reasons. I don't know why that was significant for me at that time, but it felt like a real trumpet call to keep doing what I was doing and keep operating in the way that maybe others did not. Mm-hmm. And so for me to shine is to not surrender, even if it costs you something, to not surrender to what is the prevailing sentiment or the prevailing darkness. For me personally, I love to see others that I poured into step into their purpose. That is the biggest. I'd rather shine from behind that purple curtain and let somebody else take the full, get that message and step into it. So I shared this story with the young adults. Is one of my favorite things to do. For a lot of summers, I would go to Africa and work with other people in the industry in a summer camp that helped aspiring filmmakers and storytellers come and work and learn how to make a short film. So I would come to teach them to write, and then I would take off, and some people would come to teach them production. And that 1 year I was there, I did it for many years, and then I ran the program for a few years. Young, very quiet young man. And some people have a natural gift for writing. Some people it's a struggle, and some people, they're somewhere in the middle. Maybe somewhere in the middle. But we have this thing called we give notes. We give criticisms or kinds of things that you could take away and apply to your script and make it better. And so I had given about 3 rounds of notes on the script, and it was just not changing. And I was getting frustrated. And at one point, I said to him, my utter frustration, because I was his mentor, assigned mentor, I said, why do you want to tell the story? Maybe we just need to strip it down there. It was 10 pages. It was a messy 10 pages. And the story, he was originally from Rwanda. Our camp was in Uganda. But he said, well, nobody from my country has ever told a story about my country, which was this is post the making of the Hotel Rwanda. So actually no local people had created that film. And he said, my neighbors killed my family in the genocide. They're all being released. And the man that killed my family is going to move back next door. And I'm just trying to figure out a way. I feel like God would have me to figure out a way to live beside him.
Wow.
And it just I had to lock down the tears. I was like, okay, we're going to figure this out. And so we literally stayed at that table for hours and hours constructing that story and his message that he wanted to put out to the world. So I had come from America. I was living in America at the time, come from there with these skills, with this love for story and love for justice and love for equality, to pour into this person who was coming in the middle of probably the most painful time for not only himself, but his country, to how do we figure this out, to tell the story of 2 men who are figuring out, to put out into the world for his country, which he did. Ultimately, his story was selected and made and shot. And I come home and I don't really know what happens, but I was there 2 years later to do another workshop, and there was a film festival going on. I'm like, we're short a judge. Would you come, or an MC? And I came, and in the nominees, it's like the little African Oscars. In the nominees, his name was called as one of the best short films. Wow. And I was on the stage, and I thought I had to take a moment because I thought I'm going to have a breakdown on the stage in front of all these people. But it had gone out and it had been successful and been received. And I thought people were hearing how in the most painful circumstances of life, how can I walk through this and be a whole and healed person? And it's just started in acts of obedience. So that's just shone, like the message, the heart just shone. It's like, you might not be the last link of the chain that glows and shines to the world, but when you're obedient to do your part, that's you shining.
Yes.
That's you shining.
Interesting, because that actually tells the story of the obedience to success. Like that's almost not even a strategic story. It's a God opened the door. I felt like I was supposed to go, and then I just was who I was supposed to be, and then God did the rest of this stuff through his goodness and his plans and his people. Right? That's just obedience.
Absolutely. And it's like sometimes we so feel like shining is us taking the bound. It's like, nothing escapes God's attention. It's like, when you are obedient to what he's called you to do, man, you shine. You shine in the eyes of God.
So good. All right, I got one more question. I don't know whether you're allowed to answer it. Amberly wants to know, what's the name of your show? Are you allowed to say it yet?
I can say it. It's going to change because it's we've released. It's called The Porters. Where it's the title might change, but it is about the train porters in North America. They were really the first Black union in history. They were not treated well in any respect to the word by our country and by, across the border. And they banded together and really stood up and changed the direction of history. So I'm very proud of that.
What were the dates on that, Annmarie? Like where does that fall in history?
We are starting our series in the 1920s, but it really they came into ratification of the Union. That came into that really and truly in the 1930s. So we're hoping to have enough time to cover the whole journey in a few seasons. But it's amazing when I read, and I just encourage everyone to discover in this month, in this year, all the hidden parts of this country. If you call this country home, all the hidden parts of our history that exist and should be shared and taught. But just amazing, the things that you feel like you are sad and you are angry because these are stories that are denied you. And these are real lives, and some of them who have been in this nation for generations, 6 and 7 generations, and have not had the dignity of having their stories told or their sacrifices respected. And I'm very honored that I get to let them shine in our show.
Amazing. I feel like, Annmarie, that this is just the beginning of you telling stories of people of color, and it won't just all be people like the Black community. I think you've got the ability, and there's going to be doors for you to do much of this. And so, amazing.
Golden Globes are this Sunday.
Yes, sir.
How are you feeling? What's
I'm sorry, COVID has cut us apart, David.
It's extraordinarily disappointing. I was thinking about it is. Watching Oscars and Grammys and Golden Globes, I've always done it, but once I started doing that with Annmarie, it changed my life. It totally.
Because I spill all the tea. I'm like that person right there.
Yes.
You don't even know.
When the discussion goes to, oh yeah, I go to a Bible study with her. We park cars at a church, and oh boy, you wouldn't believe. It changes your world. So I'm not giving our Oscar dates up. One day again, we're gonna, yeah. Annmarie, this has been lovely. Just even chatting with you because we haven't seen each other in person for forever because of work and distance and COVID and stuff. And I love hearing you talk about life and your passions. And so this has been lovely.
It has been.
Yeah. Yes. You're really one of the most brilliant, funny, gracious, truthful people I know. And it's a pleasure to be able to know you and spend some time with you now and then. Yeah.
Thank you. Tell all your single male friends that, because my mother's
Well, thanks for hanging out with us on Freedom House TV, all 6 to 8 of you over the course of this half hour, and all the throngs that will throughout the week. I'm very sure. Annmarie, thanks for hanging out with us. Brian, it's been lovely as always.
It's been great. It's better when we have people like Annmarie.
Far better. We talk a lot, so this has been way better.
And your acronyms make no sense, so you need me really, actually.
If I had planned, yeah. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.